Welcome back to another episode of FM Live. This is a kind of a special episode. But before we get started, my name's Mike. Thanks for joining. I really appreciate it. If you have any comments or questions while we're talking, put those down in the comments below. We'll have a lot of questions to go over today. But what are we talking about? Ethan. Hey.
Me.
So this is Ethan. Oregon. No, Oregon.
Oregon.
Oh, Oregon.
Oregon.
Ah, there it is.
Get it right, Michael.
Oh,
Come on.
Sorry, my bad.
Typical.
So, Ethan brought in one of his Miatas, which we have behind us today, and we're going to talk about it. Before we talk about the car, though, Ethan, I have some questions for you.
Oh, no.
And so does a lot of you that are watching.
The internet.
And we're going to talk about you a little bit, and then we'll talk about the car. You know, get all the little detail-y stuff later.
That's right.
Yeah.
They got to know me.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm a content creator now.
Yeah. So, and speaking of which, it's been, a couple of years since last time we talked about one of your cars on YouTube, I think?
Yeah, a couple of years now.
So-
2.5 years, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
And we're going to cover this car, of course, but just so that way we're kind of catching up other people. Ethan, what do you do here?
I am a customer support representative. When you call or email us asking for help or technical questions, I will probably answer your question, hopefully correctly.
That is what we pay him for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Excellent. So, and we've done this before. Actually, if you are interested to see Ethan's other Miata, we do have another video from a few years ago where we talk about that.
It's come a long way.
It has. It's actually, it was a lot rougher. It's still kind of rough, but it's gotten better. Maybe we'll cover that one in a future video.
Ooh.
If you want to see that, we'll have somebody drop the link to that video in the comments. But besides that, let's see. Yeah, let's talk about Miatas now. That's probably enough about you, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So, how many Miatas do you have?
Currently, I'll say 2.5.
Could you expand?
I got this one, obviously. I got a 1992 Blue NA. And then I also have a 2001 Crystal Blue Miata that I share with my mom.
How sweet.
Oh, how sweet.
Everybody say, hi, Shannon.
Am I everybody? Hi, Shannon.
Okay.
Hi, Mom.
Excellent. So, this car, obviously it's an NB. Let's talk about the detailies. So, NB Miata, why don't you just take it away? Tell us about this car.
Well, as you can see, it is not the original factory color. This was once a crystal blue car. Previous owner of this car got a real snazzy Mako paint job, so don't look too close. It's real nice from about 20 feet away.
Looks good in pictures.
It looks a little bit better in pictures, yeah. It's very much a track car. No AC, no power steering in this guy. A very aggressive foamectomy to get me seated low. But other than that, yeah, pretty basic FM turbo. It's kind of a bastardized stock or old stock of FM parts. I have good old Reginald's old manifold and downpipe on there because I'm cheap. And it works. But yeah, this car was built basically as a reliable, hopefully things don't break that much track car. And then, who cares about the street?
Right. As I was pulling this car around, actually, I noticed there's a distinct lack of power steering, which is not terrible on these wheels and tires because these are, 205s or 225s?
They're 195
195s. Okay, got it. So it was okay. But how about we talk about the elephant in the room over there? What is that?
So this car's summer track wheel is a 15 by 10 Koenig decagram. I got the big meats on there. And a 245/40/15 Hankook RS4. I wanted a good lap day tire, and that gives me a lot of laps. Probably have a good 7 or 8 track days on that tire, and it looks like it has just as much tread as it did when it was brand spanking new.
Yeah, those Hankooks do tend to have a little bit more tread life to them, unless you're really, really aggressive, which I bet if we gave it to Keith, he'd probably tear it up, but otherwise, they do pretty well.
Not too bad. A little greasy, especially because they're getting up there in age.
Yeah. Didn't you get those before the car ran?
I did, yeah. I got the wheels and tires 2020, I think, and then the car's just been a bane of my existence since then.
So about that, would you like to tell the folks at home how long the car has been sitting before it drove in today?
I don't know if we, I don't know if we go into that too much.
Maybe like the abbreviated version.
So I bought this car 2018, I think.
And it was running.
Yes, I am very good at making running cars no longer that.
That seems counterintuitive.
Yep.
Does Alex Todd know about this?
I bought this car with built engine, hardtop, all that kind of stuff, all that time ago. Drove it home, and then started taking it apart basically immediately. And then, you put the things together, you decide they're not good enough, you take those things back off. It's a wicked cycle, man.
I've heard that this car has had multiple turbos and only this one has actually ran on the car.
Yep. Yeah.
So what's that about?
I had a Borg-Warner turbo for a little while. I was installed as we'll say a showpiece.
Display purposes.
Exactly. Yeah, show and display.
Yeah.
And then I started working here, and I realized, hey, this would be really nice if I could just bolt parts onto it, rather than having things fabricated. Because again, I'm very cheap, and I didn't know that when I bought the car.
You didn't know that you were cheap, or that you like to not fabricate?
I didn't know I was cheap yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Fair enough. So, it's running now. What have you used it for thus far?
Basically track days. It drives, I guess it drives me to work sometimes, but its main purpose is the racetrack. So, yep, a lot of track days or a lot of laps at our local go-kart track, Grand Junction Motor Speedway. Lots of times off the track as well, in the dirt, doing wicked spin-offs and, all that kind of thing.
I noticed that there's a little bit of black marking down the side of the car here.
Yeah. Actually, that actually wasn't a crash this time. There was just a big cone. I whacked it with my mirror. So.
And your fender, and your door.
Yeah, it kind of flipped back a little bit on me. Whoops. I have no illusions that this car is Concorde quality. So I am okay if it has a scuff here and there or a scratch. Nick, I think you got a question over there. What burning questions does the internet have for us?
You got a question in the comments here asking about the headlights. Are they modified? Are they aftermarket units? Or what's the story on those?
The headlights are
D-spec? Spec D? Something like that?
I think something like that. They're the stuff you get from eBay when your stock headlights break. They came with the car.
So therefore cheap is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yes.
They don't give off a lot of light. I guess they kind of look cool. They don't fit very well.
Yeah.
I don't know. How bad should I be on live television?
That's probably good.
Yeah.
I think most people that know that when you buy lights from eBay,
If you know, you know. Yeah.
there's a price point that you expect that kind of performance or
Yep.
lack thereof.
I'd say so.
There's more burning questions.
What does the internet have for us, Nick?
Keegan wants to know, has it been Rolls-Royceified?
This has been de-Rolls-Royceified, as you can see from the no AC and no power steering, and all polyurethane bushings. It's buzzy. It's pretty buzzy. Definitely not Rolls-Royceified. Thank you.
So what I want to know is some of the engine mods. We've talked about the turbo kit, but there's also other things bolted in there that we haven't talked about. Can we go over some of the individual bits that you have?
Sure. A lot of the stuff is pretty cookie cutter. Just took some parts from the FM catalog and went nuts. I have our cross-flow radiator. Obviously our turbo kit. Still got stock fans on there because reasons.
Cheap?
I have. Yes.
Did I hear cheap?
Yes.
Oh,
cheap.
okay.
And
They work.
sometimes things work.
You don't have AC.
No.
You don't have power steering.
Yeah, it's fine.
You have a
It'll be
radiator and an
fine.
intercooler. That's it.
Yeah, it's fine. I have E85 flex fuel. Got some corn running through this engine. I have a Flow Force LS ignition kit. Probably not 100% needed at this power level, but that's okay. We're future-proofing is what I'm telling myself. Other than that,
I see a reroute.
yeah, it does have our reroute and our turbo lines run on the back of the head. As far as engine-based stuff, that's really it.
What about the engine itself?
It is a fully stock 1.8 VVT, no headwork, nothing.
Oh,
It is, I guess there's a square top manifold on there. So it flows a little bit better on the top end compared to, a stock thing. Stock manifold, I'll say. So other than that, yeah, completely stock rods, stock pistons, stock head, stock everything.
how much boost are you running with the 2560, right?
Yeah, just a standard Garrett 2560R. E85, I have it on about 9 PSI. And on the pump gas, just 91, I have it on about 12 PSI.
And how much power does that make?
All of it.
All of it?
No, it's making about 260-ish to the wheels on E85, depending on, correction factors. And something like 230-ish to the wheels on pump gas. About 12 PSI.
So obviously you're not running the stock ECU anymore.
Nope.
What do you got going on there?
It's got the mega squirts.
That sounds like maybe you should see a doctor about that.
Oh, well, I am the doctor for this car.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm so sorry.
Not a very good one.
We haven't talked much about the chassis. What about brakes and suspension and that kind of stuff? Anything fancy going on there?
Oh, I got all sorts of fancy stuff, Michael. So for the fronts, I have we'll say our Stage 5 big brake kit. I have our 6-piston front Willwood caliper. And then for the rears, I have, in a different color actually, our rear Willwood big brake kit, the 4-piston power light. Real nice for the track.
Any other notable mods? I see a roll bar. Looks like a hard dog, probably a sport.
It is a Hard Dog Sport roll bar. Yes. Installed that a few years ago. It has red control arms. That's
Ooh.
the fancy stuff.
How much?
Yeah.
How much horsepower?
All of it. For bushings, I also have the SadFab bronze bearing retrofit kit.
Ah, that's
It's riding on some bearings.
that's pretty cool. How's your experience with that been so far?
Pretty solid. I actually do like it quite a bit. It's very smooth.
What about comparing that to bushings or maybe the roller bearings that we have?
I have Super Pros installed on my 92 NA. I feel like I do feel some resistance in there. So I think these do better at being sort of more of a race polyurethane bushing. Definitely less resistance on just a bearing than it is a bearing rubbing on polyurethane. So you can surprisingly feel it. I wouldn't think you could, but yeah, it's pretty low maintenance. Add some grease every once in a while through some grease zerks for this car. And then, yeah, I actually like it quite a bit.
Well, there we go. So if you have questions about bushings, Ethan is the guy.
Oh, I've done them many times.
Excellent. Any other notable mods?
Currently running VMAX classic coilovers.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. They are very soft. Great for the street. I'm actually very surprised how pleased I was with them on the street. biases aside. But for the track on the 15x10, it's a lot of grip for very soft springs. So we'll be getting some Foxes here pretty soon.
Yep. I would imagine that'll help.
Yep. So, man, other than that, what else do I have on this car? I have a broken gas cap lid.
No. Speed fill. Speed fill. So
Yeah.
when you're at the track, you don't have to take as much time popping the lid. You just dump the fuel straight in.
Exactly. This guy gets it.
Yeah. Race car mods.
I suppose I do have a fancy oil pressure and oil temperature sensor from Romania.
Yeah, the Rotarytronics kit, right?
I do. Yeah, I like it quite a bit. Coolant temperature gauge gives me a little bit of trouble sometimes. But yeah, it's really helpful to make sure I'm not going to start blowing stuff up. Oddly enough, it's kind of helped me figure out how long it takes for oil to get warm rather than overheating. I've never had oil temperature issues. There's no oil cooler on this car or anything. I've never really seen oil temps above about 230.
That's really reasonable for a track car. Speaking of our track, there's a few viewers out there that probably have run at our track for summer camp or otherwise. What kind of times are you getting with this car? Because I'm sure that's, a good comparison point of
Right.
how fast am I versus an FM employee.
True, yeah. This car,
No excuses, come on.
no excuses. I ran a 63.9, which I think is probably pretty okay for that track.
That's not bad.
Yeah. And yeah, it's got a ways to go. It can go probably a fair bit faster than that. But can I? That's the question.
It's always that loose nut behind the wheel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think we'll make some improvements.
Yeah.
I think we'll be okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of improvements, what are your plans for the future with this car?
Basically just more race carify. Probably the next couple things are aero stuff. Put a splitter on it, some hood vents. I guess that's for cooling too. Basically just ways to get real nerdy about it, start going faster at the track.
But what about the big question?
Like more power?
Yeah.
Is that what?
So
Okay.
the big thing that I heard a lot of complaints about with this setup is that it's not a 1.6. So when are you going to put a 1.6 in here so that way you can make bulk horsepower?
Mike, there is no 1.8 without the 1.6. We wouldn't have this if we didn't have the glorious 1.6 liter V6 Mazda engine.
So when's it happening?
Not for this car. It's not happening for this car. This has to remain in tier 2.
How? Wow. Well, I know that there's a lot of 1.6 fans out there that are going to be really disappointed to hear that.
Oh, they'll be okay. It'll be okay.
So I guess that just means that you need to make 300 plus horsepower with your 92 then. Right?
We'll see.
Right?
We'll see. We'll see.
That's what I think.
No promises.
Okay.
No promises.
All right.
I do like my 90 horsepower. Is pretty fun at the track. It's fun to beat cars with much more horsepower.
It is. It's very satisfying.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mustangs have nothing on me.
Wow. So if you're anywhere close by and you have a Mustang, come on out to Grand Junction Motor Speedway. That's what I heard. So another question that we got is, why do you hate fiber?
Fiber?
Yeah. So you have this ethos, this motto on your windshield.
Oh, yeah.
And it just seems like maybe you need to talk to a dietitian.
Yep. So, ethos that Mike is talking about is crap hard. How I buy most of my cars, Michael, is I get them cheap because they're stanced out and have a lot of miles on them. This car, although it did have a fancy Mako paint job that cost $900. I know, right? Chunk of change. It was very low. It was on cut springs and stock NB shocks. So it was odd. And it used to say scrape hard, and then one day I fixed it.
Fixed it. Oh.
So now it says crap hard.
I really think that you should get an anti-fiber decal next. Just keep it going. Yeah.
We'll see.
Okay. Well,
I appreciate the suggestion. It's a bad suggestion.
I'm
but
glad-
appreciate it either way.
I'm glad that this car is now functional and it can turn and it can go over speed bumps. So that's always a good thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is functional.
Yep. So another comment we got was that at New Miata said to tell you hi, and he thinks you're cute.
Hi, Austin. You're cuter.
Moving on. Give us one fun fact about you that we don't know.
One fun fact about me.
You don't have to think that hard.
That's a good question.
It can be about a Miata thing if you want.
How many Miatas have you owned?
I'm drawing a blank. How many Miatas have I owned? Is that what I heard from you, Nick? Are we counting parts cars?
Sure.
Sure. Then if we're counting parts cars, I've had 7. It was a problem for a while. I've calmed down as of a couple of years ago.
Do you think it's gotten better since being involved here?
I have a day job now.
Oh.
So that helps, not having so much free time that you can just be perusing Facebook Marketplace. So
that is a problem.
That is helpful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, own house now, not using other people's space. I am the worst, by the way.
Shout out to your mom.
Thanks, Shannon.
Thanks, Shannon. Yeah. So, do we have any more questions from Kian or other
Yeah. What do you want, Kian?
burning questions from viewers?
He said, no fun facts. This is what dailying a 1.6 does to you.
A fun fact: Kian's car hasn't worked in ages. Kian does not go to the track.
Also true.
If you couldn't tell, Kian and Ethan have a rivalry that extends into our Facebook Live channel.
Kian, you're not allowed to criticize my 1.6 if you're not faster than it.
Them's fighting words. All right. Anything else? Okay. Well, hopefully everybody had a good look and enjoyed a little bit of a deep dive into what is Ethan's NB Miata. If you have questions about where Ethan's going with this car in the future, or maybe want to see it in a next, thank you, in a next video about updates about this car, or maybe the 92 when it makes 300 horsepower, let us know.
It's not.
It will,
It's
but
right.
1.6.
It might.
Drop us a comment down below. Let us know if you'd like to see more episodes like this where we talk about employees' cars or projects, that kind of thing. Let us know. We'd be happy to chat. We've got several more cars in the parking lot even that we haven't talked about. So we can do more of this kind of stuff if you'd like. Anyway, we really appreciate your time. Thanks for watching. And if you would like to talk to Ethan about any of the things on his car, suspension, or otherwise, of course, you know where to find us. You can call us, you can send us an email, and of course, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Where else are we? Threads? Yeah, we're wherever you want. We're almost everywhere. So drop us a link and we'll go from there. But thanks again for watching. We sure appreciate it. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye.